Hi there, everyone. My name is Jagger. I'm a master's student from the University of Pretoria, and I'm really honored and quite privileged to be asked by the Cardano Summit to present a portion of my master's research today. I hope it's insightful to everyone watching, and I really hope so everyone can take something from it. So, yeah, without any further ado, I'll get into it. If we look at the title, basically my goal is to develop a machine learning model that will use data from NFTs or non-fungible tokens to aid in the prevention of both employment history and job-related documentation fraud. So I know that is quite a mouthful of a title, but as we start getting into the presentation and detail the process, it will start to make some sense. So the first thing I want to focus in on is the traditional recruitment process, and specifically the core aspects of background checks. These verification processes, when we need to verify a candidate's employment history or job-related documents, be it certifications or degrees, is quite a difficult process. To be able to confirm if something's true or not is quite a mission. So a lot of companies will make use currently of, they'll use third parties to do this. So they pay third-party services to perform this process, and it can be quite risky. There's a privacy and a security risk of candidates' data because you are using third parties and they're storing that data. And data has really become king in the last, I would say, decade. So it is something to really, really consider. And one of the aspects we have to look at is document fraud is rapidly increasing. I did a Google search when I was prepping for this presentation, and I think I Googled something like bar fake degree, and it returned about 43 million hits. I know that's not very specific, but it does show how available things are on the internet. And I mean, part of my research is to go and look and see if there's actually a problem, and there is. You can really go out and you can buy a fake degree and get it delivered to your door. It's as easy as that. So there really is a problem. So I have a couple of statistics I want to kind of detail and go through, because they were quite surprising to me. So on employment history fraud, the first one looks at a 2008 study of small cap companies, so less than 100 employees, and basically it detailed that nearly half of them struggle to verify candidates' information, which is quite interesting. Another one in 2020, a study in 2020 by a PSV, or primary source verification provider, basically they reported that 50% of candidates falsified information to some degree on their application. So that's half. It's quite crazy to start seeing all these statistics. And then another one was a 2020 social study by CNBC that reported 78% of candidates lied to some degree on their resumes. They did an anonymous poll on thousands of individuals, and people anonymously, they tell the truth, and 78% of those candidates say that they do lie. It should be a white lie or complete fabrication. They do, to some degree, lie on their CVs or resumes. Then in terms of document fraud, some of the stats that are quite surprising are, there was a 2015 study by the New York Times that reported that there's over 3,300 fake tertiary education establishments. So this is fake universities, places where you can buy degrees online, and I mean, 3,300, it's a lot to choose from. So quite crazy. And this is all the way back in 2015. 2018, just to bring it a little bit back to home in South Africa, was, the Ministry of Education reported that there had been a 2,000% increase. And I mean, that's not a typo, a 2,000% increase in fraudulent qualifications since 2010, 2011. I mean, that's 10 years. 10 years, 2,000% increase. There's definitely an issue. So there's a big pressure on both individuals and companies due to COVID-19. I think it's something to mention. It's kind of rocked our world for the last year and a half, 2 years. So there's a lot of pressure on individuals. The job market kind of dried up for a while. People, might resort to lying on their application, get a fake degree, try and apply for a job. They need it. And then companies, they're being pressed. The cost, there's costs. It's time consuming to perform verification. So there's a big increase of fraud due to that pressure. So looking at the traditional verification process, so how do we go about traditionally verifying a candidate's information when we perform that background check? The first thing, or the main thing, is to manually identify and analyze multiple aspects. And this could include much more than this, but basically previous places of employment, dates of employment, job titles held, reasons for leaving. There's so many different aspects that need to be considered when you have to manually go and analyze and see if this person's telling the truth or not. So getting into the solution, and I mean, I try to rush through that first portion because I want to really get into the meat of this, which is the solution. So the solution focuses on an NFT-based e-recruitment platform. That is basically what I'm busy building. And the aim will be to automate via machine learning the candidate's evaluation process by using job history and certification data that will be embedded within NFTs, and ideally use machine learning to calculate an applicant's ranking score or candidate ranking score for a specific position to see who's more relevant for a specific position and who's more qualified, who would be the best individual to employ. So it will allow recruiters to efficiently and effectively identify the best candidate for a specific position. So this is quite a cool, this is what I really wanted to get into, is the NFT proposed workflow. So this is, obviously I'm working on this, but it's really cool to share this with you. So when exiting a company, an employee will be issued an NFT of their job history. So the current employer will generate an NFT containing some of the following data. Could be in the employee's full name and surname, their start date at the company, their end date at the company, latest job title held, latest job description held, additional information, maybe like promotions, ratings that they received. And these will be mandatory fields, and then obviously optional fields that you would fill out and build the actual data of that NFT up per employee or per employer that you had a job at. Then the NFT data will be minted. So ideally, that's a nice buzzword for a lot of technical jargon, but everyone knows what it means, I hope, to mint an NFT. So NFT will be minted and then connected to the digital wallet address of the employee. So think about it. You have a MetaMask wallet, and in there's NFT section. In there, you would have all your NFTs. And then, so the employee would gain an NFT from every past employer and institute that they may receive a certification or a degree from. And then when applying for a specific job, the employee can now compile or combine or basically compile an NFT bundle. So I'm applying. So for example, I am in my line of work is IT auditing. So if I'm applying for an IT audit job, I'll compile the NFTs based on job history and certifications or degrees that are applicable for that job. So you can kind of build up your CV using different NFTs. Then the applicant will send that NFT bundle to recruiters or companies via any communication. It could be email or WhatsApp or really anything. They would get a link, they could follow it, and they could publicly see your full CV as a NFT bundle. Then the recruiter, once the recruiter has received the NFT bundle, they can view the data embedded within that or within each NFT. So this basically just details the what I've just kind of gone through, just a little bit of an overview diagram. So I kind of won't go into it, but I mean, if you're watching this at a later stage, then you can kind of pause this and kind of have a look. So the main thing I want to look at here is the network comparison. So when we look at the network comparison, my main test was I chose a number of different blockchain networks and to see who was the best. So there is a lot that I've looked into, but for this, I've basically focused on three. So the three is Ethereum, Cardano, of course, and then BSC, so the Binance Smart Chain. When we look at the actual detail, let's focus on scalability as our first aspect. Ethereum currently looks at about processing at about 13 to 15 transactions per second. Now, this is an average. And then Cardano on the other side is about 250 transactions per second. It is, in my opinion, probably the most scalable blockchain out there. Binance Smart Chain is not too bad, 39 to 40 transactions per second, so it is quite scalable. Transaction cost is quite interesting. So Ethereum has gas fees. If you've ever bought an NFT or sent anything using Ethereum or over the Ethereum network, you know gas fees. I mean, there's been times where my gas fee is higher than the actual thing I'm transferring. So yeah, the gas fee plus minus on average $20, but that obviously, like I said, it depends on complexity of the smart contract as well as how busy the network is. With Cardano, the cost is about 1.5 to 3 ADA. So you're looking at about, I think last time I checked, about $2 per ADA. So it's about $6. And then the transaction fee, 16 to 17 cents in terms of ADA. So really, as a total, not that much. And if you look at the asterisks there, you get 1.5 ADA back when you get your NFT. It's sent back with you, with your NFT. So it really works out economically great. The transaction costs are minimal. Binance Smart Chain is not too bad, 0.03 BNB. A BNB token is quite expensive. The transaction fee about just under $1. So yeah, it is what it is. I did this test using Baker's Swap. That is an NFT marketplace on the Binance Smart Chain. And then one of the things I just wanted to highlight was the consensus mechanism. So Ethereum's a proof of work. Ideally, they are looking to plan to maybe move to proof of stake. And then you got Cardano at proof of stake and BSC at proof of stake. I think a proof of stake is my favorite consensus mechanism. It definitely is the way forward. Is those staking mechanisms. So some things to consider, some aspects to consider is, one, Cardano has just launched the Alonzo upgrade. So, I mean, with that, we now basically are going to usher in the network's ability to run a range of different crypto applications. Smart contracts now exist, NFTs now exist. It's really blown up the world of Cardano, and I mean, it's really quite awesome to see. And the main thing is Cardano now supports programmability. That's the key, and I think that's really what the beauty behind Cardano. Another thing to consider is Ethereum's launched the London fork. With that, we're going to start seeing a change with users paying a base fee. Fees are going to start becoming a little bit predictable for users. So transaction fees are going to start to change, which is great from a cryptocurrency overall aspect. And then just another thing I wanted to highlight was, I looked at 3 different blockchain providers in our comparison, but I'm still going to be looking at things like Flow and Wax, which are other NFT platforms that you can kind of mint your NFTs on, and that I'll really go into depth across as broad of a range as possible in my research. So the last thing I just want to kind of highlight is the machine learning model, and just a little bit of a detail around it. So I want to make use, or I am making use of supervised learning algorithms to analyze the candidate's NFT data and basically calculate that candidate ranking score. Be it out of 10 or 100 or whatever the case may be, it will be some sort of metric you can evaluate. That person's got a 8.3 out of 10, or and that person's got a 7.8 out of 10. So the 8.3, based on multiple different factors, their candidate ranking score is higher for a specific position. Therefore, they should be awarded this position, or they are the more likely or relevant candidate. A learning to rank supervised machine learning algorithm will be used, and it will use an input training set. So that the training set is made up of 2 main aspects. The one is past successful applications. So with machine learning, as you know, to build up a proper machine learning model, you need data. You need historical data. And I've sat and gotten some real world data, and a lot of it of candidates that have these specific attributes and got employed or didn't get employed. And that's obviously one of the aspects to consider. The other one is the manual judgments and calculation of the applicant's ranking score, or that's candidate ranking score. So that together will create our input training sets. The applicant features can also be, just to note, can be assessed in a numerical or Boolean value. So when you look at numerical, maybe things such as like numbers of or number of years of experience. And then Boolean could be, does this applicant possess a specific skill for a specific position? If I'm applying to be a software programmer and it's required I need JavaScript, that's a Boolean value. Do you have JavaScript experience, or that certification? Yes or no. So it's a Boolean value. And then, the main points of the machine learning model will basically will aim to automate or semi-automate the evaluation of applicants to a specific job opening. So it'll be the entire platform with this underlying machine learning algorithm, and make use of NFTs. That's basically a quick, nice recap of what I'm busy with in terms of my master's research. And I definitely think, to be completely honest with you, Cardano is the winner and something I want to be using, especially with the Alonzo upgrade. Now with NFTs on the horizon, or basically here, it's definitely my go-to. Cardano has been for a number of years. But thank you. I really do appreciate it. And if you want to reach out, please do reach out on LinkedIn. Let me know what you thought, and let's chat. I always love a chat around cryptocurrency, blockchain, Cardano. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Cheers. Bye.